As English speakers, we are very fortunate. When using nouns in a sentence, we do not need to worry about the problem of case. When we look at a sentence, we see a verb in the middle. To the right, we see the object of the verb, and to the left, we see the subject of the verb. In other words, the ball is on the receiving end of the kick, and the boy is on the giving end of the kick. The boy kicked the ball. The boy is the subject, and the ball is the object of the verb. However, with personal pronouns, we have a different situation. The personal pronouns, as well as the pronoun who, change form as they function as subject or verb. What are examples of personal pronouns? Well, there is I and me, there is he and him, and there is she and her. Let's just work with those for the time being. Now I'd like to give you two sentences where the form does not change and one where the form of the pronoun does change. In this sentence, we use the pronoun he because he is identical to the word the culprit. There's no action verb. We're simply using a form of being, the verb was, to identify who he is. So there's no giving, there's no receiving. He still remains the subject of the sentence. In the sentence below, we have a subject, the ranger, who offered Shirley and him some advice. So what we call this, the ranger, we refer to as the subject. Shirley and him, we refer to as the object of the verb. Again, the subject is on the left side of the verb, and the object, Shirley and him, is on the right side of the verb. That's another easy way to identify what place the pronoun takes. Is it a subject or object of the verb? Well, it's quite clear here that Shirley and him are objects of the verb offered. They're on the receiving end. The ranger is on the giving end of the advice. Now that we understand the problem of case as it refers to pronouns, we can better defend the proper usage of personal pronouns when we hear people making mistakes in spoken English. How many of us have heard somebody refer to themselves as Blake and me in the sentence, Blake and me stayed home, or Blake and me went to the party? It's quite clear here that the proper use of the pronoun would necessitate the use of the verb of the pronoun I. The correct sentence should be Blake and I stayed home, because Blake and I are to the left of the verb stayed, and thus they function as a subject of the sentence. They are a subject of the verb, and the subject of the verb, if it is a pronoun, should be the personal pronoun I. If it were the object of the verb, then we would use the form me for the pronoun I.